Just a man on a mission, ambition to never fail. Personality electric, he is animated male. Intelligent and wise, calm and often cool. Chris James giving opinions while also speaking the truth. Empathy and compassion. Stephen Michael is here, helping you through your traumas, helping you with your fears. These three forces combine and keep it honest. Turn up the volume, cause this is the application of knowledge.
But okay, let's go.
Stephen Michael.
No.
Hello?
No. Welcome! This is the Application of Knowledge podcast. To my right, checking in at 6'6".
Wow.
A solid, about, how much you weigh
200.
now? About 200, about a solid 200 pounds. The healthiest man with a mission.
Oh my God.
Chris James! Come on, cheer for him. Hey. Stephen Michael. It's Stephen Michael. Anywho, I am Animated Mel, and this is the Application Knowledge Podcast. Are you guys aware of what happened to Dave Chappelle?
Yeah.
You're aware. Have you heard about that?
I mean, no.
Okay. Well, Dave Chappelle was on stage, and a fan rushed up and tried to tackle him. And the fan had a little weapon on him.
Oh, man.
Fan had a nice little weapon.
Is that really a fan?
Well, I guess it's a fan
It's
of
in a
someone.
cell. It's in the cell. It's a fan of someone.
You know,
What?
an assassin.
I don't think fans attack the person they're fans of.
Crazy fans.
To try to kill them, though?
Crazy fans? Only fans? What?
Nah, just crazy fans.
I feel like at the point that somebody tries to kill me, they're no longer my fan. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
So if a person is trying to kill you and they're not a fan, what you call them
An assailant, a murderer, like
An assassin.
But why? But why is it that they would want to? Like, how can you be so excited and care for someone that no one else can have them? No one else can have you.
that's an obsession or something.
Yeah, that's insane. But yeah, he had a guy come on stage and try to attack him.
Oh, it was a guy.
Yeah.
Something that made me feel like it was not going to be a guy.
Oh.
Dave Chappelle said.
Possibly.
Dave Chappelle said it was a trans woman or something.
But the thing is like Dave Chappelle was a little sturdy up there. Like he didn't like fall.
This is, how recent was this?
Maybe like a couple days ago.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen that.
like last week. First of all, Dave Chappelle's built. We all know that.
Yeah.
Right? Second of all, this dude wasn't that big.
Yeah, he was small.
So-
but he did the wrong thing, man.
Dave did or the other guy?
The dude. Because he got his ass whooped. He got his ass whooped. I mean, they turned him into like a cartoon character.
Wow.
Like the way his body looked. Like
When I saw him on the stretcher, first of all, I was like, why is he on a stretcher?
Yeah.
And second of all, his arm was like
his
contorted.
arm was like this.
Oh, wow.
It was like contorted.
His eye was swollen. His lip was busted.
Dave did this or security?
I
A
guess
little bit of
it was a
everything.
group of comedians also, and because Jamie Foxx was there.
Wow.
And of course security guards and all that stuff, but they whooped his ass. I mean, if you look at that picture,
Oh, I need to see this.
it is insane. I'm just like, yo, that dude did not have. He clearly did not think straight in this situation.
Was there a joke happening that he didn't like, or he just?
Nah,
He's probably playing this.
yeah, he probably.
Oh, he was trying to murder one. Premeditated.
He had a weapon on him. It was a plastic weapon, but it was
What
like
the
it was
heck?
like a knife with like that looked like a gun. But he got. It was the thing is, it was like it was able to get into that center. But things like that wouldn't go off in the metal detector anyway.
Right,
It's
it's
made of
plastic.
you know.
But didn't Wayne say, old girl asked him how to shoot if it's plastic? So
I shoot if it's plastic.
I mean, even if it's plastic,
I like how you pulled that out.
I'm just saying, like, it doesn't matter. A weapon is a weapon, even if it's plastic. That's Wayne taught me that.
Hey, Big Mike, they better step their authority up before they step to a sergeant, son. I got army guns. You youngers never harming none. Fly Wheezy, my opponent's done. I'm done talking. Shut up. You know what I mean? That's Wheezy, baby.
Wheezy F. So do you know was he? So the joke that he was talking about wasn't anything crazy. He didn't say anything. The crowd didn't erupt, and it wasn't just a moment of passion.
Nah, he was actually just talking about hip hop. He was like, "Yeah, we got a hip hop," because it was like a bowl, a Hollywood bowl or something like that.
What? So he did this in front of all these stars. He thought that he was going to get his moment of shine, and he was going to do it. Did anyone interview this guy yet to say why did you?
I think they did find out why he attacked him, though. I think so. I didn't watch it, but I think I did see that. I don't know if it's true.
Is he part of the trans community?
Nah, I don't think.
No, I think he's just a regular dude.
And a lot of people are saying that it's because Will Smith went on stage and smacked Chris Rock.
What?
So people are getting more encouraged to jump on stage and attack comedians.
That's the dialogue. I mean, the timing of it is. But people attack comedians all the time.
This isn't the first time.
No, people attack comedians.
I watched. Okay, now me personally, I am not the type to get on the stage and attack somebody. But there was a time where I've only gone to one comedy show ever. And I got traumas. I haven't been to another one.
You was in the front.
I was in the front.
Yeah.
And I was in a different place in my life. I was a much larger person than I was now. And
you got roasted?
Oh, I got roasted.
Oh yeah.
No! And we go in and we're sitting down, we're chilling. It's me and a couple friends, and there's girls with us, whatever. And this comedian's on stage, and he says something like, I had a plaid shirt on. And then he said something like, "Oh yeah, look at this guy up here. His plaid shirt looks like a picnic table or something crazy, right?" Like, and I'm just like, "Oh, like that's funny." Like, it was hilarious. And then as he continued, he didn't let me go. He didn't move on. So then he kept roasting me, and all my friends at the table are laughing, and I'm like. I mean, it's funny, but all right, bro, move on. You don't got to keep sitting here going in. But because I was getting upset, everyone was laughing. He kept going. So then eventually, I got up and I'm like, "Yo, I'm out of here." Like,
you're one of those.
What was I didn't.
Oh man!
I mean, I had been drinking. I was pissed off. I was upset.
Oh my!
So I got up. This was not just a short amount of time. He would go back to his set and he just kept referring back to me. He just kept going. And so I eventually got up. I got up and I walked out. And of course, he's roasting me the entire time I'm walking out. I don't know what he said. And so I go outside. And I ended up going. We were at a place where there's all these bars and stuff or whatever. So I ended up texting my friends like, "Hey man, y'all can just stay there, finish the show, da 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 da." I'm gonna go to this bar, and I went to a bar and I literally just drank for 2 hours while they finished the show. Damn, and they told me that he just, even after I left, he continued to roast me. What was the. I get it, right? It's funny. People are laughing. It makes sense. But, I mean, there does come a point where it's you could move on to somebody else. You know what I mean?
But look, it's a comedy show.
It was funny for everybody else. And it was funny to me at first.
When I go, I mean, I understand.
Yeah.
If it's something I understand, regardless of what it is, you took it personal. So
yeah, of course. I mean, I was very uncomfortable with myself. There's a lot of things I didn't like about me.
I completely understand that. But when I personally go to comedy shows, I understand that it's all in good fun. Because I've been roasted plenty of times by the stand-up.
Have you?
Yeah. I go to comedy shows very often. Very often, and I typically sit up front, so.
And that's also, people who go to comedy shows, they know that. If you don't want to get roasted, don't sit up front.
I mean, this was just the table that was available.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But
and we didn't know. This is all of our first time. We don't even know who this comedian was.
So if you were within the LGBTQ community, you would be one of those ones.
Well, I didn't.
That would get upset.
I didn't yell at him or anything. I just was just all right, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I was yelling back at him or it was just like, yo, I'm at the table like, come on, bro. Like, y'all gonna just like,
I understand.
It was funny, man. And it's cool, but it's just like when there's a difference between. I think that there's a difference between like just having a conversation around something and then personally directly roasting somebody.
I think that is hilarious.
It was funny,
not necessarily whatever
but it just went
is making
too
you
far.
But who gets to determine that?
Well, I'm saying
because
I'm saying for me, it was too much for me.
Right, because the conversation is like, okay, a comedian is going to do their job.
Right.
You don't get to decide what's too far. You know what I'm saying?
And you're absolutely correct. Like, and what did I do? I removed myself from the situation because I said this is too much for me.
Right.
Like it's moving. Like at first it's funny. Right. You're making fun of my weight. Like it's cool. And then you move past, you continue to the point where I'm like, okay, like I can take a joke. You know what I mean? Like I have no problem. I can take a joke. I can laugh. But then it got past that point. I'm like, all right, bro, like there's a very large room of people here. Why do you continue just to roast me? Like
because that's what makes a good show.
Because I gave him the reaction.
You gave him the reaction. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's literally just like a haunted house. You ever been to a haunted house?
Yes.
If you're more scared, they're going to keep coming after you. That's exactly what it is.
So I went when I went on my first cruise. They had a comedy show in there, and me and the girl, do a comedy show. We enjoying ourselves. I go sit front right side of the stage. Never been to a comedy show before. Just sitting enjoying myself. I was wearing a plaid shirt, and that man found me. And he just let me have. He's like, it look like you shop at Old Navy. I'm like, it is. I'm like, it is from Old Navy. You know what I'm saying? And
hey man, that was a good pick, man.
And the whole show, he just let me have it, and I just was like, this is fun. It's you know what I'm saying? Like
it's just part of the thing, man.
I think that it was more or less it was something that it was really hard for me to handle. It wasn't clothes, it was me.
Yeah.
So so it was just like, okay, you're making fun of my weight, which I'm already very self-conscious about, and it's just like it's not something that how in certain circles bigger people, they don't mind. They're just like, it's all good, like we talk about weight, yada yada yada. But for me, it was very touchy. Yeah. It was something I was very self-conscious about. So,
is yours on the internet?
Huh?
Is yours on the internet with a comedian talking?
I have no idea.
Mine's is. Mine's on the internet.
I think did you show me it? I feel like I might have seen it.
Possibly, but Gary Owen, he like when me and my ex-girlfriend were together. He was talking about, he was like, where are you from? It's like Cincinnati, because he saw her. She's from Germany. Mm-hmm. I'm from Cincy. Saw black dude, white chick, or whatever. I guess the fair skin, or lighter skin chick, and he obviously, he's a white dude. He has a black wife, so he
used to have a black wife.
Yeah, used to have a black wife. He honed in, and he said, "How did this?" I'm trying to understand how someone from Cincinnati and a girl from Germany got together, but she didn't want to have that any.
Oh, I'm sure she was not a.
Yeah, it's funny. He's like, before the show, she was just like, "Oh, I hope he doesn't say.
Oh man,
I hope he doesn't say anything." And I was just like, he probably will. He typically says something to someone in the crowd at some point in his show, but as long as you just go along with it, you will be fine. Do not oppose, because as soon as you start to oppose, it's going to be a shark smelling blood.
Yeah.
Right.
They're going to go at you.
Yeah.
And then it came to a situation where she asked, where she felt like, okay, move on.
And I'm sure she probably said it.
No, she said that.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, move on, go to someone else, But he was just like, he's like, my God, I'm just trying to. And then they started, the thing is, it's all on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's on his channel. It was dope. But ultimately, she had fun.
Yeah.
She enjoyed it. She had a nice little thing. And, there was some stuff he said about me. We didn't take no offense to it. It's just, obviously you're drinking, so you're probably feeling a lot more.
It's not just that,
but you have your insecurities as well. Obviously,
you can't determine what someone should feel or not feel about a certain thing.
I know, but it's just more. It's more about going to something with an expectations. Like if you're going to a comedy show, it's not like someone's going there with the intent of hurting you. Like, the intention is to have fun. Let's laugh. Let's have a good time. So yes, I mean, I understand your counter to that. I understand that, but I wouldn't be able to go to something just like, for instance, one of my friends, he invited me to go to a rodeo. I know I would not have a good time at a rodeo.
Why?
Because I don't like seeing animals in any capacity being controlled, harmed, or hurt.
Okay.
I don't like that. It makes me feel. It doesn't make me feel good at all. And so I was like, nah. I said I would not enjoy myself. So I don't put myself in that position to be around freaking animals that are going to be strangled and murdered and.
Wow.
They're not being strangled or murdered. Do you know what a rodeo is? You don't.
The animals are the ones winning.
You think it's a bull? You think it's like a bull? Steve, help me out with the bulls.
They're throwing the freaking ropes. The rodeo. It's a rodeo. They're riding on them. They're pulling on. I don't like that.
I thought you meant the bullfighting. Do you think it's bullfighting?
No.
Okay.
A rodeo. They're riding them.
Yes,
and they're getting bucked off.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Oh, okay. All right.
No. I agree. I understand. I just thought you thought because you made it sound like they were killing them.
I couldn't even go to the zoo and enjoy myself.
No, I'm done with the zoo.
I did not think for a second that I would go to the comedy show and then I would end up getting roasted out of the building.
That is
because you never been.
I've never been. It wasn't my idea. It wasn't like, and I've literally never been to another comedy show because I'm like, eh. But if I did go, right, I now understand what was to be expected. What I should have done, right, is I should have just sat there and laughed.
Yeah.
And then eventually he would have just went on about his way, or if he came back to me, I could have laughed it off. But you don't. If you don't know, you don't know. And I didn't know what to expect. None of us had been to them before, and no one was like, "Hey, listen, we're gonna be in the front, so if anybody gets roasted, just eat." Like, no, you know what I'm saying?
But also, I think it speaks to a greater point. I think that when we look at the trans community and why they're so upset, it speaks to a greater point. So we've all been roasted in comedy shows. Yeah. You're the one that took it the wrong way. You said
Did
because
I take it the wrong way though.
Yes, you took it the wrong way.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
You did take it the wrong way. I'm not invalidating how you felt, but I'm saying you took it the wrong way because it's a place to laugh and make jokes, and that's what it's for. So what I'm saying is, if you look at the trans community, you think about Dave Chappelle's show, the reason why it seems that they're so upset about it is because they're very sensitive about their gender or whatever.
But here's my thing. If you talk about generalizing people that are overweight and you make fat jokes, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me in that way. But I'm talking about a situation where you are actively talking to me directly. I don't think that I took it the wrong way. I understand the intention is to be funny, but you're still being offensive directly to Steven.
Right.
Like if he's talking about a community and he's making jokes about the community, that's just like that. It's a very right. It's so broad. He's directly talking about me. Dave Chappelle has never picked out someone in the crowd and has roasted.
Well, you're talking about in there. You're talking about in the specials. You don't know if he's ever done that.
Maybe in his one-on-ones or maybe
because it's a very common thing for comedians to do that.
Yeah, I understand that.
There's comedians that will pick a guy out of the crowd and be like, "Sir, are you gay?" You know what I'm saying?
Look at D.L. Hughley. Mm-hmm. He roasts people. That's what he does. He roasts people in the audience. So it's like, if you watch comedy, I'm sure you've seen plenty of stand-up. So it's not out of the realm of
it's not. But it just seemed like, to me, even looking back on it, even now from the place I am, to me it's still like, bro, I get it, but damn, like you just went in all night, and then even after I left, you continue, and I get it, right? Like it's part of your show, yada yada yada.
He's doing a really good job.
He did a great fucking job.
It'd be different if like he's like, all right, let's exchange numbers, and then he started sending you jokes. After the comedy show.
I mean, there's
roasting you.
I don't think that I will be able to just accept it and say, just jokes. You know what I mean? I mean, I get it, right? And I'm not upset about it.
he gets upset at that. But people, like, in my life that I'm in a relationship with, I joke around. I'm a jokester. I joke.
But
they get upset over it. You know, and I'm just like, why are you getting upset? You know I'm playing. You know I'm not being serious.
When you are joking about something that is extremely sensitive to a person, then you run the risk of them getting offended.
Yes. Yes.
So yes, I got offended, which, I mean, I'm assuming that at a certain point, anyone is going to say, all right, man, that's enough, right? There's a difference between talking about my clothes. If you talked about my clothes, that's fine. He could have talked about my haircut. He could have talked about my shoes. Like, you know, but it was like, you're talking about me directly. Like, you knew me. And it was like, this is too close. It's too close for me. So
I hear what you're saying, but like, it doesn't matter, because whether it's your clothes, your hair, or whatever, it's whatever someone's sensitive about. It's not just because he's talking about your actual physical body, right? Because your hair is part of your physical body too. Yeah. You know, look at what happened with Will Smith. The whole reason is because Jada is bald because she has alopecia. That's her hair. That's not her physical body. So it's the thing, and the point that I was trying to make is, if you're offended about that, then that's work you have to do.
Mm-hmm. I know, and that's what I did.
But I'm not telling this to you. I'm talking to the audience, because I was bringing it to the trans community, because that Dave Chappelle really stirs up the trans community. So we like Lizzo. Lizzo is constantly preaching body positivity when she is the most insecure person on the internet. How are you? It's fake, bro. Like you're not being genuine. You're the most insecure person in modern creator world or music world, wherever she does, and you're constantly talking about how much you love yourself. It's just like, you're not being genuine. So instead of like working on yourself, you just try to cover it up, and it's just like, no, fix it.
Why do you think Lizzo is insecure? Because
she's, you remember when Andre said, if he says real talk, I probably won't believe him, right? It's that concept. When people so for example, women who are a healthy weight and they're happy with their size, they never talk about their size.
Yeah, that's true.
They just don't. It's not on their mind. The only women you hear talk about their size are the ones that are uncomfortable with their size. So if you're comfortable with your size, you just live that. You know what I'm saying?
Let it be your truth.
It's your truth. You just live it. That's why. It's that simple. It's not hard. When people put a flashlight and stuff on something, it's because it bothers them. It goes back to what you said last week when you were talking about what were you talking about? You said something along the lines of when someone's self-conscious about something. I don't remember what you said, but it was going to tie in real good. Go rewatch the last video and listen to it, and he says something that's going to tie into.
Watch the whole video.
Get back to us.
But the point is,
we're going number one, y'all.
we literally do not talk about the things that we're completely comfortable with.
Yeah.
That's all.
True. Yeah, you're right.
Why are you so sensitive, man?
I'm not. I mean,
you are sensitive.
I mean, in general, I am a yes, I am. But that's okay. That's me.
I know. Why are you so sensitive?
But I am not, like, when it comes. I think that everybody has their buttons, and I mean, I'm not sensitive with everything.
What's that? Pussycat Dolls?
Pushing out my back is
Loosen.
Oh yeah, loosen.
You got any buttons on?
Come on, man. Yeah.
He's got at least one button.
I got at least one. Wow. That must be the glasses.
It might be something else.
Got you acting crazy.
See the skulls?
But yeah, like there's certain things that I think that everyone has a few things that they are self-conscious or sensitive about. And as Chris stated, like if there's something that you are sensitive about or you get offended, then that's on you.
How do you go about challenging the things that offend you?
First, just take a look at him and ask, why does this offend me? Why does this bother me? And when it came to
That's what Mel said.
Okay. Is that what he said?
Yeah, he was like, why does this, take a look, why does it bother me?
Take a look and say, why does it bother me? And the answer is because I'm not happy where I was at. I was very uncomfortably physically, and I was unhappy. So if you talked about it, I knew I was unhappy about it. It just hit even worse. It just hit even harder. Yep. So instead of just crying about it, then I did something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, started to put work in and started to put effort in, lost over 150 pounds. And I started to do a bunch of stuff to get myself to a better place so that I don't feel so sensitive about it. So am I still sensitive in a certain way? Yeah, sure. Because I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm nowhere near as touchy as I used to be. So, if we were in the same situation, and if we went to a comedy show and I'm getting roasted, like, it's not going to be anywhere near the same way because I put in that work in that particular way. So what I think that a lot of people should do is, if you feel yourself, when we use this word triggered, especially when we talk about emotions, when you use this word, when something triggers you, it's an alert or alarm that says, I need to work on that. If you feel shame about something that you see on TV, or if you feel upset that somebody said something to somebody else, it didn't even say to you and it made you upset, then it triggered you. That is an alert that emotionally there's something that you need to work on. And the problem is that a lot of people, we just want to blame other people and say, like I did with the comedian, hey, don't say that about me. You're mean. You're wrong. And it's like, nah, at the end of the day, it's not true. Like, it's on me. It offended me. And it's my job to work on that because it's exposing something that I don't like about myself. Right. So that's what I was trying to get around.
And see, this is the greater point, right?
Yeah.
Because if someone is exposing something that you don't like about yourself, you're the only one that can fix that.
Only one.
If you telling this person, hey, don't say that about me, cool. Okay, cool. You know what? I'm going to move on. Okay, that doesn't stop it from happening
and
again.
It doesn't stop you from feeling how you felt.
No. So it's like, if you really want to get to the root cause and actually fix the problem, you got to do that work.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. For the trans community, for, people like Lizzo or whoever else, even myself. I'm not excluding myself from this. If there's something that you're uncomfortable about, fix it, work on it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no getting around that because you can't censor everyone around you. And that's the problem right now, is that this idea that we're going to censor everybody and make everybody conform to all these weird ideologies. And it's absolutely absurd. It's literally never going to happen because people are going to have their opinions, and then there's going to be people that are ignorant. There are literally people in this world that don't know what a trans person is. So how could they ever address you properly? Were you going to go around the entire world and make sure that, like, bro, this is too much. Just fix you.
Right.
Like, just work on you.
Like, that's not because, yeah. I guess if you come from a part of the world where you don't see trans people.
We live in Dallas, so there's a couple around, but
there's quite a few.
This is one of them areas.
But growing up back home in Cincinnati, I never saw a trans or didn't even know.
Over
the Rhine, before they gentrified it, you find them on a corner street walking.
So at the end of the day, I think that the most important takeaway from what's happening with Dave Chappelle, what has been happening, his interaction, my interaction, how I handled it. It was I removed myself from the situation.
You would have never ran on stage and tackled.
No, I would have never done that. It's just not smart. But I removed myself from the situation, and then I said, you know what? I don't like that environment. I have not been back to that environment. And then I put in the work to then change myself and the hurt that I felt so that I would not be able to hurt again. It's the exact same thing like going to the gym and working out. We go to the gym and we lift weights and we build muscle. The way the muscle builds is by tearing the muscle apart, and then the muscle rebuilds so that way it cannot be torn apart by the same amount of strain the next time. So then what happens is the unintended consequence is the muscle gets larger. The fibers actually build up on top of each other and they get larger. So we need to build up emotional muscle, and that's the work that people don't want to do. They don't
muscle.
Right. They don't want to go to the gym and put in that emotional work and feel the soreness and feel the pain and doing leg day and not being able to walk. That is painful.
I did leg day today.
Emotionally, that hurts. That's laying in your bed and that's you crying because you're now looking back at sixth grade when Jimmy shoved you in a locker and he called you overweight.
Jimmy!
Right? I mean, that is putting in that emotional work in the gym. And that's rough. It's not fun. People want to talk about healing and loving yourself and all this and that. Well, loving yourself is putting in the work, is putting in that effort, is going to see therapy, is going and getting a coach, is doing the things and putting in and working on the things that are uncomfortable for you. And people don't want to do that. But it's not society's job to conform to you. Like alcoholics, they are taught that you have to live within this world. Alcohol is not going away. It's not going to ever be a place where you can go and alcohol is not going to be there, right? You cannot go to a bar. You cannot go to clubs. There are certain things you cannot go to liquor stores, but you cannot get away from alcohol. So alcoholics are told that you have to learn to cope and survive within the world that you live in by healing. That's what we're taught. But people that have to deal with their emotions are taught that, and we're teaching people that everyone just be sensitive, everyone conform. It's like telling alcoholics that we all can't drink anymore because we have to worry about this piece of the community. Well, that's not how the world works. And I think that's the greater message that we need to be like looking at. Like, we can't expect the world to conform to us. We need to heal to a point and build that emotional muscle so that way we are able to deal with the world as it comes to us.
Yeah, accountability.
Don't change the world around you. Change the world within you.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, if we just learn to be more accountable and stop projecting and the alcohol statement is actually extremely it's sobering, pun intended. It really kind of, because like. We get that. A lot of people drink.
Yeah. And
you go to a restaurant, even if it's just a regular restaurant, they're going to have alcohol. Yeah. And people get it. Like, you would not expect the world to be like, okay, that's it, guys, can't do alcohol no more. For this smaller community.
Right.
Or even if it was half the people. There's still the other half the people that likes to drink.
Correct.
So that's actually that was a really good analogy.
So why do we do that for everything else? Why are we doing this why are we telling other people to change all this and that? Like, I don't go to places and say, hey guys, like, don't drink. I'm coming up on 3 years sober. Like, a lot of people don't know that, right? I'm coming up on 3 years sober this month, the 21st,
yeah,
or the 18th, or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah. How you still sober when you getting high on life, man?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm coming up on 3 years in like 2 weeks. But I don't go around telling people, hey, you can't drink around me. I used to drink, man. You know what I'm saying? I was an alcoholic, yada, yada, yada. Like,
right.
You can't drink around me.
Right. Drink around me.
Right? Like, I don't do that. Like, I make conscious decisions not to put myself in certain situations that I don't feel like I'll be comfortable in. And at the same time, I've gone through a massive amount of work so that I don't feel those trigger thoughts. Like, and if they do come, which I can count them on one hand, how many times I'm like, man, I really want to drink. Like, then I have tools to help me get out of those moments or to get me through those. Like, so I'm not talking just out of my butt. Like, this is like real life experience, and it's a lot of work, but we need to we need to look at things and yes, we can get offended. That's okay. If you get offended, it's okay. But we need to then look at that and say, well, why am I offended? And what can I do to work on that instead of trying to change the world? So. It's real out here, man.
Y'all good? Y'all good on that?
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle? Y'all want to move on?
Mel, come on with these transitions, man. You gotta do better.
Asking, are y'all good? Like, do y'all have anything else that y'all want to add to it?
No.
Okay. All right. Well,
golly,
let's.
That was terrible, Mel. You know what a segue is?
It would not have been terrible if you hadn't said it.
Yes, it was. When you said awkward. What you said, it was already
good. That was awkward.
Are y'all good on that? You want to say anything else? Like, just segue, bro.
No, I'm just saying because y'all seem like y'all want to keep talking about it.
We did?
Yeah, I want to move.
I was silent.
I finished and Chris didn't say anything. That's it.
Just allow the transition to happen.
I'm just trying to, make things.
Yeah, it will have been perfectly fine.
What's the next topic? I'll do the segue. What's the next topic?
Amber Heard and Johnny Depp.
All right.
Or we can talk about abortion.
Is abortion trending right now? It is? Why?
Yeah.
I'm out the loop.
I don't know too much about it, but
there's not much to know. You know what it is. It's
just like they're like making abortion illegal.
Well, no. So what's actually? I guess we're going to talk about it. So what's actually happening is that the Supreme Court is looking to change their original stance on abortion. So in the case of Roe versus Wade, they basically said that they federally protected abortion rights. So you were allowed to have abortions federally, and states were able to then put stipulations on abortions, but they weren't able to say you can't have them. They're federally protected. So what they're then looking at doing, or I guess what they're doing or done, is they are now removing the federal protection against having, they're removing the federal protection and then placing the right or the law in the hands of the states. So there's a lot of
so they are, or they're considering.
No, it's happening. Like, so there was a leak that came out where there's something that's done ever so often, and this leak came out where the judges have brought this to the floor, and basically they're looking at passing it. So it's pretty much going to pass, where they're going to remove the federal protection federally against abortions. And what that will then do is then you have some states that basically people are concerned that some states will then make abortions illegal.
They will.
And then, of course, you have some states will continue to where they're at, and they'll still be legal. So obviously, there's a lot of it's a big conversation, and you have people that are on two different sides of the fence about it. But it's not like some people think that now abortions are going to be illegal across the board, which is not true. But depending on where you live, it may make it more difficult.
Right,
so
you might have to go across the state
Yeah.
line to get it done.
So that's the conversation that's pretty much being had. So what are you guys' thoughts on abortions? Want me to give you my thoughts?
I don't like abortion.
Okay.
I am not for the killing of any life, but I'm also not a fan of being told what to do.
Tough situation.
Well, it's not really tough.
Oh, okay.
It's just I'm not going to place my beliefs on someone else. I feel like people live their lives and they choose what they want to do with their lives. So ultimately, you make your own decision. Mm-hmm. I don't want or like any body or any ruling entity to tell you what you are supposed to do with your life. Like, who are you to have power over me to tell me my existence, my life? Who are you to tell me what to do?
Right.
So that's my thought process. I mean, I'll never encourage abortion, but I understand some people's circumstances are different.
Yeah.
People feel a particular way about it, and regardless of how I feel about it, I'm not going to project it on anyone. So I'm for being in control of what you want to do. I also think, I think there's so many different thoughts that I have. Aside from my personal thing, it could, I think abortion is a way to control, it's population control, man. I don't know if I should talk about that, but Man, fuck it, man. It's a form. It's a form of population control, man. That's how I feel. These aren't proven facts or whatever, but it's definitely a form of population control if you look at it in the sense of where they typically are. In black communities, always abortion clinics, and in like prosperous communities, is more fertility clinics. You know, so it's like. If you look at how things are mapped out and who's being most affected by it, because the funny thing is, most women are against abortion. It's not like it's like a 50-50 split thing. Like you would think most women would be for, I guess, not getting it, or getting it. But most women, they feel that way. But I guess the law, I guess that part is the caveat. But I don't know. I feel also that. There's a thought that the I guess white community, whatever, since they're losing, I guess the majority, they're saying no abortion so they can gain control again. That's the argument that also I've been hearing when it comes to
interesting
the abortion thing, But at the end of the day, whatever the news media is perpetuating or whatever they're saying, question it, double check it, because everyone's riled up, and when people are riled up, they play on those emotions, and they get you thinking or feeling a way about something that you initially didn't even feel, but they're creating your narrative. So I would just look at everything that's outside of the scope or that's being said. Don't allow the media or the news to control that, because I swear, I feel like we are in like an episode of something, because it's
crazy.
Like,
just
it's
one
like,
thing after the other.
Not only is it one thing after the other, it's been happening consistently throughout life since I was a kid. Since I was a teenager, a young adult, up until now. It's like there's always something. Oh, there's going to be some kind of disease that's going around. Oh, there's about to be a mass shooting. Oh, there's about to be a terrorist attack. Oh, there's about to be police brutality. Oh, there's about to be so many police get killed. It's just, these are cycles. I see them and it's consistent. And so even with that, you have to know that this is a pattern. Everything is moving in cycles. So the way I view all this stuff is just creating more division. And when you have more division, you have people attacking each other. You have people more divided. And when people are more divided, they're more easy to control when they're more divided. So I wouldn't allow all this stuff to emotionally affect you on a level where you're like, you believe this? But I seen people posting stuff, trigger warning posts, and I understand people have trigger warnings, so I respect that. But it's more like I see people saying, as a woman, I'm just like, stop getting so emotionally involved in this stuff. Like, you already have 2-3 kids. Like, this wouldn't even affect you if you were involved in it, especially since your husband has a vasectomy, or whatever, But people just get so riled up and emotionally charged about something that they can't think straight, and they just continue to allow their narrative to be painted. Because I guarantee that, yes, while the situation is, I guess it's like an emotional drawstring for some, most people don't care. Most people don't care as much as they say they do. It's just because it's on social media, it's on all this stuff, that it's way bigger than what you think it is. And then once that happens, it creates a hysteria, and then it makes the world like, man, everyone is thinking this way, and you start looking at people different, based on things that are being painted out there. So ultimately, I want people to make the choices for themselves. I will never support anything that oppresses or hold people down in any capacity.
Nice, good explanation.
Yeah, you really nailed it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna, I pretty much agree. I think that, if you want to label me, I would be labeled pro-choice. I have 2 children, So obviously I don't want children's lives to be taken, but at the same time, I definitely understand there's plenty of reasons why that option needs to be there. And, I don't have to take responsibility for anything that someone else does. And if someone decides to make a decision and they feel like it's not time for them to be a parent, then why am I deciding to put my beliefs in the mix to say, well, no, I don't care. You have to do this. And yes, I still look at people because I want people to take responsibility for their actions. And I think that there needs to be a conversation, and maybe there is. I don't know. I've never gone through the process of trying to get an abortion, but I feel like maybe before an abortion they invest money into therapists who say, oh, listen, you have to sit down with a therapist and go through a session before you decide to do this, because maybe there's some things you want to consider. So maybe there are some options, and maybe there's stuff out there, maybe there isn't. I don't know. Like I've never been down that road. I've been down the road of having children. But at the end of the day, no matter what, instead of putting the energy and money towards saying, no, you can't have them, and then removing, the ability to give, they're essentially looking at saying that they have to have children, and then they're also removing the ability to give them support after they have them. So, they're looking at taking away like Similac and certain things like that, certain things that help.
Well, I'm not opposed to that.
Well, I mean, I understand.
I get what you're saying.
But what I'm just saying, they're at the end of the day, as Mel stated, which I once again agree with. Me personally, I've never gone down that road, and would I do it? I don't know. Depends on the situation. But I do think that everyone has their own choice to make, and I don't like the fact that essentially you have a governing body that basically just saying we're going to remove this choice from you, and I don't agree with that.
Okay, so here's my thing. Every time a man and a woman, or a male and a female, lay down together, that man puts a seed in that woman, there should be an expectation that a baby is coming from that. In a perfect world, every time that happened, that baby would be born. What the people who are against abortions are saying is you don't have the right to decide whether or not that baby is born or not. The thing that I find is interesting is we're okay with vasectomies. We're okay with eating poorly. Holistically speaking, there is a chemical castration that happens to people every day. We don't call it abortion, but it's literally removing people's ability to have children. You're making them sterile, and nobody's talking about it. We're talking about the ones that can have it naturally and everything like that, but there's women that got to get in vitro even get pregnant, which is why fertility issues clinics is a thing.
It's getting worse.
A fertility clinic shouldn't even be a thing. But nobody's talking about that. Why is no one advocating for all the miscarriages? People in a world where everything's supposed to be so equal and we're just so aware, we're so awake. How do y'all completely just take off the table? These women are having miscarriages. Have you ever considered that someone's doing that to them? They're essentially aborting those babies, not the women.
They're considered abortions.
They're considered.
They're called spontaneous abortion or something like that.
Okay.
It's considered an abortion.
But those women want their babies. Who's advocating for those women? We're not looking at the problem holistically. The problem is not whether or not a child should be born or not, because here we go, right? A woman gets raped. She gets pregnant from the rape. She should have the opportunity to abort that baby. That's what this really kind of boils down to, is those situations where someone forced themselves and it's like, okay, you didn't ask for this. This was forced on you. Should you be forced to have that baby or take care of that baby? And then also considering the quality of life that the baby is going to have, thereafter. Why don't we focus our energy on creating an experience where women don't have to feel like they have to make that choice? Like, whether you have the baby or whether you're going to be the parent or whatever, why don't we create an environment where all babies are going to be taken care of? They're not going to go into the system, where the government's going to put them through foster care, and everybody, well, a lot of people know how that goes.
Yeah.
When you're in the system, why don't we create option C, which is where every child can be born, but you don't necessarily have to parent that child?
So let me just a note. So one of the other things that would essentially, this is we're right at the beginning of this. So there's way more conversation and things that need to happen before all this finalizes. But so a lot of conversations also around. So that is one of them, right? Someone gets pregnant and they didn't want to, but then also. If you have a child and it gets stuck in the fallopian tube, then obviously it puts the mother's life at risk or essentially kill her, that would be considered an abortion.
Right.
So some people are saying, well, they're just saying no abortions at all. So if that was to happen,
the mother has to risk her life. Right.
Right. Which is like, well, no, that shouldn't, so there's a lot of conversation that still needs to be had, but when they're just saying no abortions, like that is basically it as well.
But see, this goes back to what I was saying about the miscarriages. Why are babies getting caught in fallopian tubes? That's not normal.
Yeah.
Like it's common. It happens, right? 100 years ago, it was really common, right? I mean, you'd have 5 babies, one's gonna die at birth or whatever, or whatever the statistic might have been. It was very common for babies to die. We've had several. Our grandmothers had babies that died. That was normal. So the question is, why is that happening? And this is, what I'm saying, I always look at things from a health standpoint. It's like, we shouldn't be having miscarriages. Babies shouldn't be getting caught in fallopian tubes. We shouldn't be having preemie babies. We shouldn't be having babies come out with disease and malformities. Like, none of this stuff is natural. None of it is natural. You take an animal in nature, and yes, I'm going back to the animals. We're not animals. It doesn't matter. It's a baseline for us to understand. We're all created by the same thing. Whether it was the Big Bang or God, we're all created by the same thing. So if you look at nature, you look at animals aren't having miscarriages like that. They're not having all these malformed babies unless we as human beings have done something to their environment. So my thing is, pisses me off because it's like, let's look at the root cause. We shouldn't even be having this conversation.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And also, a lot of times, the reason why people don't want to have children is because they don't feel like they can afford them. There's a whole society that's trying to tell you that it costs X amount of dollars to afford a baby, but yet you go to a different country where there's not even money, doesn't even exist, and they have babies and it's fine. Like, the conversation, and this is why I don't listen to the news, because I can't even have this conversation. I don't care. I'm not pro-choice and I'm not anti-choice or whatever the options are. Okay? This doesn't make sense. This shouldn't even be a topic for discussion. We need to fix core problems. That's where I'm at. So you're not about to put me in a category. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm not pro-choice. I'm not anti-choice. I'm none of those things. I don't believe in any of it. It's all garbage. We should fix the problem. And we should make a society where people are able to feel comfortable having children. They should have a community that supports those children. If you aren't ready to have a child and you have a child, because let's be honest, I don't know the statistics, but I would imagine 80+% of people that lay down don't expect to be having a child that time that they lay down. So if that's the case, and we're just doing it because it feels good, and
pull out, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, listen, man.
Then we understand that there's going to be babies born with people that didn't expect that to happen, or that's not their intention.
And I think that's where a lot of personal responsibility comes into play.
There's a lot of personal. Now, if that's the case, no, you shouldn't necessarily have the ability to just, kill a baby or whatever. If you're just being irresponsible or whatever the case may be, or maybe there's some limitation on it, or, because a plan B. Is a plan B an abortion? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. There's people that believe that pulling out is some form of abortion.
I saw that as well. It said that life starts at the erection. And masturbation is a sin because you're
What?
you're spraying children into a tissue or
I mean,
I'll be sending every day.
I mean
every night.
but this
Every
is
Thursday.
this is how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, where does it end? It's just like we're never going to come to a consensus.
hold on, guys. This is a conversation that's happened our entire lives.
Yep.
It's never going to come to
It's
an end.
never like so. I'm about solutions, and although I know my opinion is going to be super unpopular, but it's a solution because pro-life and anti-life.
What's your opinion?
Huh?
What's your opinion?
He just David. You don't have one.
No, I didn't say I didn't have one. My opinion is fix the core problem. Every baby that is conceived should have an opportunity to live in this world. The problem is the parents either don't want to raise that child, or in this instance of a rape, there's that trauma there where maybe every time the mother sees that child, she's thinking of the abuse. So especially in those specialty situations, there should just simply be a good option to have the baby and then let someone else raise them so that they can have their life. That's all I'm saying.
Because there's a lot of children out there or parents that can't have children. And I know some who literally cannot have children and they've adopted. I have a friend who I have a friend who literally, him and his wife, they can't have children and they've adopted because they weren't able to have them. And the issue is that they were going through the adoption process and they just complained all the time of how frustrating the adoption process is. Like, why is it so difficult to adopt a child? Like an actual legally saying, this is my child now. Why is that so difficult? Like, why is that process not easier? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because like even if you think about people who have children or have kids, they aren't necessarily equipped to have kids, and they don't go through the process. I mean, I guess it would make sense because they're under the government's.
Let's say this.
Let's
say that I just turned 36, and let's say I meet a woman who's my same age. She's 36. I have children, she has children, but we get together and it's 2 years later, we get married. We're 38 and we decide, at this point, she doesn't want to carry a child because, she's past that point in her life where she's like, I don't think it's going to be safe for me. And I'm like, cool, completely understand, but I would love to raise a child with you because I'm in love, right? We decide that we want to adopt. If we decide that we want to adopt, we have this entire process where we have to go through to even show if we are have the ability to raise children or adopt a child. And we could have two adults that are doing well with their lives, that maybe income, you improve income, improve not, whatever, right? But there is the ability or the possibility that we could get denied from adopting a child. Even though we have children of our own and they're successfully being raised, we can be denied for multiple reasons of having children. And that process is too difficult and it takes too long. If I decide I want children, do a background search, make sure that I'm not selling children or whatever, look into me.
Yeah,
make
for
sure
sure.
that I can find not selling children.
Yeah, make sure you're
not a pedophile and stuff like that, obviously.
But then after that process happens, there should be almost very to little. The average person should be able to adopt a child. Yeah. And if they do, then give them a damn tax break or something. Hey man, great job, man. We appreciate you. Taking a child out of the system, whatever.
This is what I'm talking about though. And this is part of that right there is what is clogging up the system.
Right.
So that when a woman is in a position where it's like, well, I don't know if I want to raise this child, then you got to think, they're going to be in the system.
Right.
Because they're not going to get adopted.
Right.
I mean, I don't know the statistics, but I know there's a lot of children in foster care, government care, you know what I'm saying? Whatever those housing that they have for children, and those places are trash.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they're hindering the people that would be suitable parents and would love to have these children. They're hindering them from taking it. And who is the government to say whether or not you're able to be a parent?
Right.
The government is nothing. It's a piece of paper.
There should be just a few stipulations, right? Do a background check, do an FBI check, make sure that you're not, you don't have, certain things in your background. Financially, right? Can you afford a child? And what does that look like, right? Median income, right? As long as you're in the median income, then great. Two parents, even struggling, are going to do better that want this child than
the government taking care of them. So,
in a foster home with 10 other children.
Because, here's my thing. Here's my thing. If you can provide that child a better life to go with those parents, why are you holding them in this foster home or whatever?
Yeah,
it's like juvenile center or something.
They're foster homes.
I looked into that.
Bro,
bro.
What is the place that children are at before they get into foster care? Because a foster care is like a house, and maybe a mother has several children. Where are they at when the people come and they're like, you meet the children, you're like, yeah, I want to adopt this child. Where is that? Because that's what I'm talking about. I mean, foster care can probably be a lot better, but I'm talking about the holding tank that they have for these children, where the government is basically taking care of them. It's not even a foster mother or foster dad.
They're probably doing experiments and shit on them.
I mean, they're doing all kinds of stuff. When you talk to people who have been in and out of foster care like that, it's never good. Yeah. I've never heard anybody who grew up, bounced around in foster care and was like, yeah, it was a great experience. I'm a better person because of it.
I have another friend who is they are foster parents, and he grew up in a foster home, and he became a foster parent because of how bad his foster home was. And so they were foster parents, and I saw them, they only had a couple, like 2 or 3 children would come through, and they'd stay for a small amount of time, and they'd move out. Now, granted, they were white, so they moved children a little faster. I would assume that statistically wise, black children are probably, or children of color are probably in their foster homes longer. But they moved children out fairly quickly, but they were providing a good life for these children at that time. But once again, when that other family went to go adopt, they went through hell, and they actually got denied at one point and had to reapply.
Is there a fee for that?
I'm sure there is.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
It's ridiculous.
That's literally trafficking.
Yeah, it's literally legal trafficking. So we should be able if we had these systems set up in place, and as Chris was talking about, fixing the core issues, if you had systems in place that made it a little more comfortable for parents or mothers to then, have the child and to say, you know what, I'm just not ready to care for them, and then put them in a place where someone could, then great. Because there's a lot of people out there that cannot have children, especially in 2022. They can't have children, and they want them.
And let's be honest. The way you feel today is not how you're going to feel tomorrow. Even the women who are pro-choice and they want to be able to have abortions and things of that nature, you're going to have to live with that. Yeah. And that's more trauma to you ultimately that maybe you didn't account for.
That's why I'm saying that therapy, that having that conversation prior would be.
Yeah, it's like there's so many levels to this, and we're not having the right discussion, and it's annoying to me. That's why I just stay out of this stuff.
I don't get into it either. I've had little basic conversations to feel the temperature, but at the end of the day, I have my opinion. Me personally, I had my children, and would I prepare for them? No, and I had them, and as a man, I do what I got to do. But it's not my choice to determine if someone is going to have them or not have them, and I'm not going to press that on anybody. So that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, those are some really powerful opinions. I hope we can add to that conversation, or at least the people out there who's watching this add to that conversation. Let us know your thoughts about the. I guess was this Roe
versus Wade.
Roe v. Wade.
Roe v. Wade. It has such a catchy.
Yeah, it does.
It's such a catchy phrase for some reason. It sounds like a main event.
It does.
It really does.
It is a main event. Though.
It is.
It is. This is a really big topic, and it's just frustrating.
It's very frustrating. That's why I just keep my head down and I just continue to do work.
Like, bro, I'm not. This isn't my conversation. I'm not against you all. If anything, I'm in support of them. If anybody, I'm in support of women's rights and your body, your choice. So at the same time, keep that same energy when we talk about these vaccines. You know what I'm saying? Your body, your choice. But that's a whole different conversation. But
you slipped that one in there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but you know, we're all about keeping people free.
Yeah. There's another side of this too that don't nobody ever talk about.
What side is that?
It's the men's rights.
yeah,
It's the men's rights. Everybody,
men don't have rights.
men have zero rights.
No rights.
Zero.
There's no point even talking about. We don't have any rights.
That's a problem. It's a problem that men don't have any say because the woman carries the child. So once I put my seed inside of you, I've relinquished all. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
You were confused. You didn't know.
I was okay. I'm glad you kept speaking because I was confused for a minute where you were going with it. I was about to say, hold on, cuz.
Yeah, we don't have a say in whether the child is born. We don't have a say because what if I decide, well, I will keep them myself,
right?
And then you don't have to be.
You don't have that choice.
Like, you don't have that choice.
And that's not something that's being talked about.
No,
it's men aren't being advocated for. It's frustrating, and it's like, and how dare I even bring it up?
So, like the woman wanting the abortion and the guy not
doesn't. That happens all the time.
It happens a lot.
Oh, as a matter of fact, a woman will abort her child and a man won't even ever know the baby existed.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and that's where this line gets walked because then it's just like, well, it's not your choice. Like, it's my body. I'm the one that has to carry them. And I understand that part.
Had the child without the guy. Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel as if
you need the Godfather.
I definitely feel as if the guy should have a say in that. Like, it shouldn't be like, I'm the one giving birth, so you can't do anything, you know.
If her life is on the line, I get it. Completely. I really do.
Yeah.
Outside of that, and once again, the whole abuse situation, if me and this girl lay down and we have a baby, but she doesn't want to have a baby,
casual sex, there's no problem.
There's no problem.
We're just hooking up.
Pull out
and all pillow gang is super weak.
And I want to have. I'm like, yo, I'll take care of the child. I should have the right to have my child.
I see both sides of this, and it's
you can buy breast milk. You can buy breast milk.
I mean, you have as soon as a child,
you can make a deal with it. But look, let me just get some of that titty milk.
Let me get a little bit of that titty milk.
It's not ideal.
It's not ideal.
I'm not saying that it's ideal.
No.
None of this is ideal.
No.
Right? But what I'm saying is we're not having a conversation about a better option. That's what I'm saying. And ultimately, if we start doing the work on ourselves and we become better people and we just disengage with all the propaganda and everything that we're being served, we're being manipulated constantly. If we just disengage all of that and just become healthier people, none of this is even a problem anymore.
Hey, man, and your dudes out there, hey, man, I'm going to give y'all, these guys out there, man, stop putting your seed up in all these women.
I know it's warm.
I know it's warm. I know it's nice. It's like comfortable.
It's like a Pop-Tart coming out the toaster.
Straight out the toaster. You open it up. It's ooey gooey. Like
I haven't had a Pop-Tart in a.
I know.
Dudes. We have to do better. And there is this. We have the ability to stop this from happening. And we have to do better. And I don't care if the woman is on top. I don't care if she's on the side. I don't care if you're behind. I don't care if she says. I don't care if she says.
Talk about different positions.
I don't care if she says, "Come in me." We have to do better.
Leave it in.
Because at the end of the day, there is this stigma that I got pregnant pre-cum.
Man, I want to leave it in, but I can't.
You didn't get pregnant pre-cum. You got pregnant because the guy nutted.
Plenty times they told me to leave it in. I was about 1 millisecond. I was just
wear a condom, and if you're not going to, well, then you need to pull out. And then if you do not do those things, then both parties need to have the understanding of what they're doing when this happens. But we're so sexualized Everything is so sexual. There's porn everywhere. There's sex literally everywhere. It's just so common.
Sex in my phone.
If we were
Sex
having
on the
sex
internet.
in relationships, this conversation would not be as emotionally charged as it is. But the fact that we're just having so much sex and it's just for fun, and it's just like, well, I don't want this yet. Well, we just got to do better.
Having sex is fun.
Sex is fun.
I'm not saying that it's not fun.
Here's the thing.
Not when you're not horny though.
Oh my God.
You don't just want to be having sex.
Here's the thing.
People are just having sex. Just have sex.
You gotta. There's
be responsible.
Yeah. If you want to have sex, if you want to have casual sex, then there's a level of risk that you take.
There's a level of risk
and
that
you gotta be, and you have to be responsible about the outcomes. And it's just being an adult. It is what it is.
Right.
But you're right, men.
And that's my thing. Like, if you're just out and you're just like, yo, I'm just out having sex, and then you get pregnant, and there's no reason that I just don't want to have a child. Like, I have said this. I don't personally agree with that. At that point, you need to take responsibility. But if there's anything, if there's a health risk, if there's a ton of other reasons why, right, then cool. But if you're just being irresponsible and just having random sex because you're drunk and you're in college and you just decided you want to do it, both parties need to take responsibility for that.
And so this goes kind of back to the point I made earlier. Men, we don't have any options once that seed is inside her. Yeah. So the only way to protect yourself is before it goes inside her.
Yeah, do better.
I mean, men, like women. I know men, because this is me, Mel, Steve, I'm sure. Women have told me, come inside me.
Right. Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying?
And they won't tell each other they say that.
They do that. They do that a lot. And so,
don't worry. I'm not ovulating. What?
Oh my God. That ovulation thing, bro. Like,
you're not playing that game.
Listen, I don't know.
You never heard that?
She told me that one time. I was just like, fuck it.
See, and that's how it happens.
You get caught up one night. You've been drinking. You had a couple smokes in you.
But
maybe you took one of them blue pills.
But here's the thing. I don't even, and I'm not willing to really test it. But I think that if you are a healthy person and she's a healthy person, ovulating or not, y'all are getting pregnant. That's my opinion.
I have been told by a girl. She said, I'm on birth control, but I don't want you to come to me because I know what you do for your health, and I think you'll still get me pregnant. Her verbatim, what she said to me.
Right.
Like, and I said, you're probably right. Like, there's a point where you are healthy, you're strong.
Yeah.
Them sperm is
it's 99% effective.
Right.
It's not 100%.
100%, which means something
can get through. And it's usually those people who are exceptional.
Right.
So I don't play with mine.
Nah, man. Listen, you gotta and
I can't swim.
We just, as men, like, we just gotta. I'm listening. This is not even, like I said. This ain't about the women. I'm talking men. We got to do better because we have the ability to make these controls and have this conversation. Stop just having sex with people when you're not having these conversations. Take responsibility for your actions. So,
hell yeah, man. Make sure y'all being responsible out
Mel's
there.
out here just laughing, having a good old time. We up here
man.
Talking to the fellas.
I feel it, man.
Like, wrap that thing up, pull it out, whatever. Stop just Stop just slaying these dragons out here. Like,
be careful about that spermicide.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't.
Whatever.
Like, however you. I don't care what you do.
I'm just saying, be careful about that spermicide because don't nobody talk about it. Spermicide is literally poison.
Just
poison. Like, we don't look at it that way, but it kills sperm. Okay, it also kills microorganisms and bacteria that's designed to protect your penis, which is also why people are so susceptible to sexually transmitted diseases. But that's a whole nother conversation. Don't nobody want to have that conversation. That spermicide.
The spermicide.
Condoms ain't protected.
Look at the rise of sexually transmitted diseases alongside the use of birth controls. That's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying, do your research. Don't just let the doctors tell you, like, hey, man, you need to look at both sides of the coin. You got to turn that page when you're reading that book. You smell me? You feel me? But all right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Application of Knowledge.
You sure that's what it's called?
Application of Knowledge.
Mal, what'd you do for the podcast?
Put these glasses on.
Yeah, I know, but what are you hiding?
And then I put this shirt on.
What are you hiding?
Yeah,
what are you
I'm
hiding
sure that's all it was.
Huh?
I'm not hiding anything.
Oh, okay, just making sure.
What are you hiding?
I'm not hiding anything.
Put these glasses on.
No, because I don't want to turn into you. No.
Comment, subscribe, like. Listen, I'm going to say it again. I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. If you don't agree, ask probing questions. Don't just, you're for this or you're against that.
Nah, man,
division is a problem. It's a problem. Why are we so okay with being divided? Why is that cool? Why don't we learn? Why don't we ask? Why don't we probe? Do you think that the people that believe opposite of you are just evil? Did you ever consider that maybe they have a very good reason for why they believe what they believe? Probe, ask questions. Understand each other. Stop just being so willing to butt heads all the time. That stuff bothers me, man.
Squaring up. Get that hood mentality out of you, man.
You know
it's all about unity, man. I am Animated Mel, because I am that I am.
Here we go.
Chris James to my left and to my right. You get it. Stephen Michael to my left and my right. No, yeah, to my left. To my left.
What?
You to my left.
All right, hey, everybody, thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Peace.
We will see you all next time.